We are in Turkey Hollow, and we're getting really close to our destination, which is Tract 16 at Turkey Hollow. We're about to cross over this low water bridge, or that's what they're called in Missouri. I don't know what the rest of the world calls them, but we call that a low water bridge. Cross right over, and we'll just go about another 100 feet or so, and we'll see Tract 16 on the left side of the road. It's on the west side. Beautiful. There we have it. I'll pull up here and we'll park and we'll take a look at this bad boy. This is my first time seeing Tract 16, other than, of course, driving by it on the road. And, whoops, looking at the topo map, it's basically level here on the east side by the road. Might even slope down just a couple feet. And then as you get back into the west, it gently slopes up, reaching its highest point very near its west side. Almost a little, what's it called? The K word, a little knoll, K-N-O-L-L. That's apparently hard for me to pronounce. A knoll on the west side of the property. Anyway, let's go have a look. This is a good sized property. Looking north on the county road, so land on the left, obviously. Whoops. And as we look to the south, it's on the right. I don't know what kind of video we'll get today because we've got kind of the sun right in our eyes, but I'm just gonna head in here and see what we can do. I have a feeling I won't do justice to this property with this video. So please feel free to come on out and judge it with your own eyes. What I could see on the aerial map, it's laid out nicely. I mean, it's just a good solid property. County road frontage on the east. Like I said, this is basically level. I said in the truck that it might slope down a little bit looking at the topo map, but really it's basically level. Once you get back in about 100 feet, you remember obviously that low water bridge that we crossed, that is actually Pine Creek. It's a wet weather creek, and here's where Pine Creek crosses over the property. Nothing major, you can easily drive right across it. Big pine tree, very nice. We haven't done any work to the property, so we're selling it in its natural state. You are welcome to do your own building site. If you've been following our properties for a while, you'll know that we do have I guess you'd call it a restriction, but the agreement that none of the mature timber will be cut until the property's been completely paid for in full. Mature or marketable timber, anything that's over 8 inches diameter when measured at ground level, the stump. Well, you can't measure the stump because there'd be no tree, but 8 inches across or bigger can't be cut. But we do make exceptions for driveways, for building sites, for trails. Just get a hold of us and we can give you a written exception for that. Now, once the property's been paid for in full, you could sell the timber, you can do what you like, you could clear cut it and get a big check. I mean, you could do that. Most people like to leave a few trees. Now, we had a record-breaking amount of rain about 2 weeks ago, and what it's done is it's actually washed quite a bit of gravel onto this east side of the property. I can see that everywhere. When what happened was we had a ton of rain and it saturated the ground, The ground soaked up all the water. And then we had a ton of rain again. And the ground was already saturated. And we had flooding all throughout the Ozarks. At first they were calling it the 100-year flood. Then as it got higher and higher, they decided we're calling this the 500-year flood. So a crazy amount of rain. And that's why you see some gravel here on the east side. I'll just walk back roughly toward the west and keep this rolling. I wonder what the younger generation calls making a video. They would never say keep it rolling or keep taping. I'll have to find a younger generation person and grill them. And then they'll look at me like I'm an old decrepit so-and-so. Or not. A lot of young people are pretty cool. I was young once, not that long ago. I feel young. We're starting to rise up gently, and that's what the topo map indicated, that it wasn't steep anywhere. It's just this nice gentle rise. If we continued walking all the way west, it would eventually level off on that west side where that knoll is. There's that word again. And that could potentially be where you'd want to put a camper or a cabin or a campsite. On this kind of property, it's not that hard to cut in, you know, a trail for a pickup truck. We do have some properties that have been recently logged, and they have a ton of brush, by which I mean tens of thousands of really small trees. And that can be a pain to cut a trail in. I mean, just the labor of having to cut tens of thousands of small trees. But on this one, geez, I'm looking at this. A couple guys with a couple saws, or a couple ladies with a couple saws, you could come in and just do a nice trail in no time. Get a few medium-sized trees out. And you certainly don't have to go all the way back to the west. I mean, here's a nice spot right here. Just almost at the base of this hillside. A very gentle slope to it. Mature timber all over. I didn't even mention yet, we're close to the electric line. That's east of the county road, a couple hundred feet. We are very close to the Mark Twain National Forest. That's about a quarter mile east of us. If you're a hunter in the Ozarks, you know all about the National Forest. You can get in there and you can hunt that, and you've got tens of thousands of acres of public land. Really good for hunting, everybody. I mean, you set up your spot, and everybody that I know is very respectful of the other hunters. I mean, it's a huge forest, so there are enough hunting spots for everybody. But I mean, you'll find deer and wild turkey on this property. Wild turkey for sure here in Wild Turkey Hollow. I have seen 2 wild turkeys already today, and I have heard them almost constantly. I've been out here a little over an hour. Beautiful area, super peaceful, very private. Yet we're only about 4 miles out of Birch Tree, Missouri. It's a tiny town, but it has the gas stations, it has the couple little stores, it has a bank, and it has a brand new Dollar General, which is really handy. I had never heard of Dollar General. Since I'm from Minnesota, I thought it was like a dollar store, a 99-cent store, but it's more like, I don't know what that would be analogous to in Minnesota, a Dollar General. It's like a miniature Target, almost. Or maybe like a Walgreens. Maybe that would be a good comparison. It's like a Walgreens. They've got the basic groceries, milk and eggs and cereal and that kind of stuff. And then they have clothing, hardware, but it's all compact in this little store. So anyway, they've got that in Birch Tree, 5 minutes away. And we're only about 15 miles from Mountain View, Missouri. Again, which is a small town, but quite a bit bigger than Birch Tree. And they've got a Walmart. I think it's a super Walmart. Lumber yard, banks, restaurants, gas stations. They've actually got a college there. So I mean, you're secluded and you're private, but you're not 2 hours from a quart of milk. It's a really nice setup. Now I'm noticing that this east side has a lot of smaller brushy type trees. When we got a little further to the west, we got into the bigger mature timber, which I tend to prefer to this, although this is fine. This is good. Good ground as well. But anyway, come take a look. I'll end this video. Wow, 11 minutes. I've been rambling lately. We saw a little bit of the property. Had I continued going west, that gentle slope would have continued and then leveled off at the top. Come and explore it. It's going to take a while to see all you can see on this one. This is a nice property. Build, camp, hunt, invest. Get off grid. It's fun to be off grid, but know that power's not that far away. That's my idea of off grid. Nice property. Turkey Hollow.